Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I'm 22 years old. I live in Washington, D.C., and this is the story of my last semester at university. Thank you for watching. Spring 2024 was my last semester of university. I enrolled in 19 credits and was desperate to graduate on time, seeing as my university had a tendency to complicate things for students, and many of my peers in the class of 2023 had another semester to complete in the summer, fall, or were even finishing alongside us in the spring, which made the most stressful semester of my life even more stressful. I was taking 7 classes and needed to figure out how I was going to make rent in the summer after all of this was over, considering I was and still am living off of student loans. Since the beginning of my senior year, I was trying to rewire my subconscious mind for success. I had gone down all of the rabbit holes on YouTube relating to manifestation, spirituality, and creating your reality. My fall semester, I had done a lot of inner work and journaling, which allowed me to be vulnerable with myself, unlocking parts of me that I felt like I had been missing since being in quarantine my senior year of high school and my freshman year of college. I knew that the things I was really passionate about faded as I tried making up for lost time in my academic career. But it wasn't until my fall semester that I had really taken the time to figure out what I genuinely wanted, which meant that I had to get to know myself without all of the distractions of university. I found myself on my yoga mat with my journal, crying a lot. It was brutal work having to sit with myself and unpack bad habits, my good habits, the relationships that aren't serving me, the programs that are keeping me from expanding, what I should be pouring my time into, my likes, my dislikes. You get the picture. It was honestly difficult to face myself like that every day, but it was even more difficult facing myself and not having a semblance of where I was going or what I was doing. Those moments on my yoga mat transformed into some of the greatest art pieces I've ever made. I am no professional artist by any means. I've never taken classes or been instructed techniques, but fall semester changed the way I saw myself as a creative or an artist with the way that I was reprogramming my mind. So it was really hard for me to open my journal to reflect on this past semester and read over and over again that I felt like I lost myself again. Felt like I lost all the progress I made with reprogramming and fell back into the old modes of thinking. Page after page, I was reading about fear, exhaustion, and sadness. And to clarify, it was fear of not being able to support myself once university was over. It was fear of having to feed into capitalism and become a slave to the workforce and not be able to express myself creatively in my work. It was fear of pursuing something I'm not passionate about. It was fear of not having the time or capacity to be able to create. It was just the fear that life was gonna feel as miserable as it did in that moment for forever. I know now that none of that fear was serving me, but I still have empathy with my past self, knowing that I still had many tall mountains to climb before I was even remotely in the clear. But yeah, the last month of school during my spring semester, I had 4 10-page papers to write on top of final exams, final events within organizations on campus, and making sure I'm clear to graduate while having a job lined up. I went from starting to uncover parts of myself and getting to know myself, being intentional with how I want to spend my time, to not having any time, not knowing at all what I was going to do, falling back into my old programs of not trusting myself or not trusting God, and letting fear be at the forefront. Unfortunately, the systems that we live under are intentionally designed to keep us out of alignment with the people that we want to be. There are distractions and obstacles and people that are going to try and pull you away from your purpose every day, but it's our responsibility to wake up every day and try and remember what they intend to make us forget. But anyways, all of those things on the list of reasons why I was stressed out and fearful did eventually get done. I graduated at the top of my class, having majored in sociology and political science and minoring in criminology. And those things were all cool to say, and walking across this stage was cool after not having like a proper high school graduation or whatever. But yeah, I had just busted my bum for a whole semester and still didn't have a job, still didn't know what any of my next steps were, didn't know where I was going to live once my lease ended in a month or so, and didn't know where I was going to find the energy to navigate all of this, having just gone through some of the hardest months of my life. But the reason that I made this video is to let whoever needs to hear this know that I don't remember any of the assignments that I was crying over a couple months ago. But I do remember the painting I made after crying on my yoga mat. I don't remember that stupid group project that was frustrating me all semester. But I know I will remember this video and how it felt to take the time to appreciate my life every time I took my phone out to record. I could have started my YouTube a year ago when I got into manifestation, or even 10 years ago when I started watching some of my favorite YouTubers. I watched a video by Ayanda Stud. I love her. You should go give her videos a watch to shift your paradigm. But she was talking about how we're fearful because we fear how great we are. We fear the God in us. But it's not just fear, it's also reverence and awe. But we only identify with the fear. As someone who loves painting and drawing and crocheting and filming and cooking and dancing and so many other crafts, I find myself fearing failure because I like so many different things and don't see myself getting really good at just one of them. But it became so much easier to create things once I flipped my perspective to being in awe and in reverence of myself for participating in all of those different things. I think that fear feels so big and overwhelming that it paralyzes us a lot of the time. But what if we were able to transform those feelings of fear into creating something that's big and overwhelming, you know? What if on the other side of fear is a part of you that's lost, that's waiting to be found? What if fear is just holding space for a part of ourselves that needs to be filled? Thank you for watching.